He said, she said, they said. What are the rules for dialogue tags? Hi, beautiful writers. Welcome to my channel. I'm Autumn Bardot, and here you will find writing tips, author tools, and maybe even a little bit of inspiration. Today, we're going to talk about dialogue tags. When I think of dialogue tags, I think of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Random, right? Some writers sprinkle dialogue tags, he said, she said, they said, like salt on French fries. That's too much. Some never use them at all. That's too little. And it can be confusing. I have a story coming up about that. The trick is to get it just right. Here's the thing about dialogue tags. They serve one function. One. To let the reader know who's talking. Yeah, it's that easy. Don't worry about taking notes. I've got you covered. All of my information can be found on Club Autumn. That's a Facebook group that I have. Just join Club Autumn and I keep all the files right on the group page. Easy peasy. Ready for those dialogue tag tips? Here they come. Tip number 1. In every sense of the word, this is tip number 1. The number 1 tip. Skip the dialogue tag. Instead of using the dialogue tag, have the character doing something, an action, or something that shows their emotion, or both, or shows them making an expression that shows their emotion. Action and expression, double hitter. 2, put in the dialogue tag when the reader will be confused by who's speaking. I realized when I was editing that sounded totally weird. Use dialogue tags so the reader is not confused by who is speaking. That's what I meant to say. 3, dialogue tags should be like ninjas. The reader shouldn't even remember reading them. That's a good dialogue tag. 4, there's a long list somewhere on this very computer and on the internet with about 100, maybe a couple hundred different ways to say I said. Don't use that list. Don't even look for it. If you accidentally find it, because I know you're going to go search for it now. I know that. Don't use 99% of them. Tip number 5, don't use dialogue tags with an adverb. He thundered angrily. He thundered is fine. Did he really thunder? If he's thundering, we already get that he's angry. So say no to the adverb when you use that dialogue tag. What do you put in beside the adverb? That lovely action that shows or reveals their emotion. He balled his fists. He shook his fist at the sky. That kind of thing. In fact, tip number 5 is to skip the adverb altogether. A lot of new writers will write something like, she said haltingly. Okay, get that haltingly out. Use the action to convey her fear, perhaps, or hesitation at saying what she needs to say. Tip number 7. Said is your go-to dialogue tag because it's so ninja. All the others you need to be very frugal with. Dialogue tags like shouted, cried, whispered, mumbled. Be frugal with those. Tip number 8. So let's say you get rid of those dialogue tags and you said, aha, I'm just going to put in their names instead because I have a long string of dialogue and people have to know who's talking. So I'm just going to stick in their name. You want to be careful about that. And here's what I mean. I want a divorce, Joe. But why, Susie? Because I don't love you anymore, Joe. Susie, please, what have I done wrong? I thought we were happy. Yeah, too many Susie and Joes, and really people don't speak like that, do they? No. Try this instead. I want a divorce. Susie crossed her arms. See, I'm showing her attitude. Joe's eyes widened, also showing his surprise. What? Why? Because I don't love you anymore. What did I do wrong? He steps towards her. Once again, I'm showing his emotion. He wants to fix it. He wants to repair it. That's why he's moving forward. I thought we were happy. There it is. No dialogue tags. Number 9 is don't forget the dialogue tags. Remember that story in the beginning I told you I was going to tell you? Yeah, well, here it comes. I was once at a critique group and the author had a page of just straight dialogue running down the page. And I told the author, I said, I got lost of who was speaking after like line 6. I said, you might want to put in some dialogue tags. I mean, it was a critique session, right? So the author looked at me like I had 2 heads. And I said, well, was that your intent? Was that your author intent to confuse the reader because these 2 characters are so much the same that it doesn't matter who's speaking, that it can be either one? And is that your greater point? Then the author just looked at me like I had 3 heads. And she said, well, I agree with you, technically, but I'm being stylistic. And I said, oh, which is what exactly? Are you being minimalistic to show their minimalistic lifestyle? To which she replied, that's my style. It is what it is. So I said, oh, okay. Moving on. Number 10, work out the dialogue kinks in revisions. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th, however many revisions you do. That's when you can add all of the showing. Show their emotions, reveal their emotions through their actions. But here's the thing. If you don't know what their emotion is, then you probably need to take a step back and figure it out. Because you can't really write the best dialogue without knowing exactly what that character is feeling. Otherwise, how do you show their emotion? Here's an example. I hate you. Susie laughed and threw her arms around her husband. See, that sounds like friendly banter. I hate you. Susie stalked from the room. See? Easy peasy. You can do that. That's 10 tips. I hope you learned something or got a few ideas. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I would love if you would hit that subscribe and click that little notify bell. Please join me next week when I discuss how to write a tagline. I know, right? It is the bane of every author. And I have a few tips for you. Remember, for the month of February, I am giving away this goddess necklace when you tag and share my videos. Here's a close-up of the necklace. I'm wearing it today too. It's to celebrate my upcoming novel, Goddesses Inc., which will be out March 11th. Each share and tag on Facebook and Instagram gets you another entry into the contest. And if you've watched me before, you know exactly what I'm going to say. Dream, create, and embrace. Bye-bye.